Hello and welcome back to another weekly recap. This week we're going to be looking at quite a few topics. We've got simplifying fractions, fractions of amounts, frequency trees, listing outcomes, simplifying ratios, adding, subtracting, multiplying and dividing fractions. Okay, but before we start, we're going to ask ourselves how we're going to get to our target at the end of the year, and we're going to work hard to get there. So let's start. So we'll start by simplifying fractions. Write this in simplest form. That means we need to get the numbers, top and bottom, as small as they can go. So first thing we need to do is look for a number that goes into 8 and 10. So the number that goes into 8 and 10 is 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide the top by 2 and divide the bottom by 2. So whatever we do to the top number, we have to do to the bottom. Okay, that's going to give me 4 out of 5. Okay, there isn't a number that goes into both of these, so that is now in its simplest form. Okay, 6 and 9. Number that goes into 6 and 9, we've got 3, so we're going to divide by 3, which gives us 6 divided by 3, which is 2. And again, we have to do the same to the bottom. We're going to divide by 3, which is going to give us 3. So we've got 2 over 3, or 2/3. 20 over 45. So we can't divide by 2 because this number is an odd number, sorry. So we think of a number that goes into 20 and 45. If a number ends in a 5, it's in the 5 times table. So let's divide by 5. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. And 45 divided by 5 is 9. So 4 over 9. Okay, so now we're going to look at finding a fraction of a quantity. In order to do that, what we have to do is we look at the quantity, we divide the quantity, we divide it by the bottom, and then whatever we get from there, we multiply by the top. So here we're going to do 88 divided by 4, which is 22, and then we can do 22 multiplied by 1, which just stays the same. So we don't really need this line of working out, but it's just for the sake of completedness, we put that in. Okay. So the next one, 3/8 of 72. So we take 72, we divide it by 8. So 72 divided by 8 is 9. And now we do need the extra line of working. 9 multiplied by 3 equals 27. So 3/8 of 72 is equal to 27. 1/9 of 99. So we start with 99. We divide by the bottom. So 99 divided by 9 is 11. And 11 multiplied by 1 is 11. Okay, so that's your answer. 2/3 of 45. So 45 divided by 3 which is 15. And 15 multiplied by 2 is 30. So remember, we divide by the bottom and we times by the top. Okay, listing outcomes. Benjamin rolls an ordinary 6-sided dice once and flips a coin. List all the possible outcomes. Well, there's 2 sides to a coin. You have heads and tails, and there's 6 sides on a regular fair dice. So what we're going to do, make a list of all the possible outcomes. So you can get a heads and a 1. You can get heads and a 2. You can get heads and 3. You can get heads and 4. You can get heads and 5. And you can get heads and 6. Okay, and then obviously if you get to tails, you can get tails and 1, tails and 2, tails and 3, tails and 4, tails and 5, and tails and 6. Okay, it's important to be systematic when you're making these lists. Do all the heads first, then all the tails, and make sure you've got the right amount at the end, an equal amount of heads and tails. Okay, so these questions are a little bit time consuming, but they are worth spending a bit of time on for the easy marks. Okay, Mickey goes to a coffee shop. You choose one drink and one snack. Write down the combinations. So again, we can abbreviate T to the letter T. So we can have T and muffin. So we say T and M. You can have tea and a brownie. You can have tea and crisps. And you can have tea and a pastry. You could have coffee and a muffin. Coffee, brownie. Coffee, crisps. And coffee and a pastry. Or we can have juice, muffin, juice, brownie, juice, crisps, and juice, pastry. Okay, that's it. So frequency trees. What we need to remember about frequency trees is that the two offshoots of each number have to add up to make the number before. So we don't know what's going to go here because these two numbers have to make 70. So let's take a step further on. So 8 and 1, these two add together to make this number here, 9. 5, we still can't figure that one out. So now we know that's 9. We can work out that this is going to be 70 take away 9, which is 61. So here we've got 61. And now this one is going to be 61 take away 5, which is going to go in here. 61 take 5, which is going to be 56. So in here we've got 56. Okay, so these two boxes have to add up to make the one before. So 50 children audition in the school play. So that's here. That's the 50. 18 of the children were boys. So we can put that in here. 18 of the children were boys. Put 18 in there. 15 were given a role in the play. So 15 children were given a role in the play. So that means that this box and this box make 15 together. So these two have to add together to make 15. 8 girls were given a role in the play. So down in girls, we've got an 8 there. Okay, so we can start working these out. So this box is going to be 50 take 18, which is 42. So 42 can go in there. And we know that 8 girls were given a role, so we can do 42 take 8, which is 34. And we can do, now we know that that's 8, we can do 15 take away 8, which is 7. So in the given a role part. And then 18 take away 7, which is 11. Okay. Okay, simplifying ratios, very similar to simplifying a fraction. You find a number that goes into both. So a number that goes into 16 and 24. Well, we could do 2. Okay, divide the top and the bottom by 2. That'll give us 8 and 12. But we can go further. So if we do 2, we can go further. Again, we can look for a number that goes into both of these. So we could do 2 again, but we can see that 4 goes into this as well. So we can divide this by 4. And there's 2 4s in 8. And there's 3 4s in 12. Alternatively, we could have done this by a bigger number. So we always want to try and find the biggest number that goes into both. So alternatively, we could have started by dividing by 8. And that would leave us with 2 to 3 straight away. Okay, simplifying. So we're looking for a number that goes into both of these. So the biggest number that goes into 6 and 15 is 3. So we're going to divide the whole lot by 3. That's going to give us 2 3s in 6, and 5 3s is 15. So 2 to 5. Can't go any further than that. Okay, on to adding fractions. When we have the bottom number, or the denominator, when this number is already the same, all we need to do is add the numerator, which is the top number. All we have to do is add those together. So that gives us 4 over 4, which we can simplify to 1 whole. So 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 ninths plus 2 ninths is going to give us, remember, you just add the top numbers together, 6 over 9, which we can simplify, if we use the skills we had earlier, into 2 over 3. We've divided both the top and the bottom by 3. Okay, so now we've got numbers where the denominator, the bottom number, isn't the same. So what we have to do, we've got a method called, well, we have to get the denominators the same. The easiest way to do that is times these two together. That gives us an easy number they both go into. So 2 times 9 is 18. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 1 by 9, gives me 9, and 2 by 1 gives me 2. So once I've done those 3 multiplications, I can just add these together, and it gives me my final answer, which is 11 over 18. Okay, so this is called the X factor, or the cross-cross smiley face method. Again, we need to get the bottom numbers the same. So I'm going to multiply these two together, 8 times 5, which is 40. And then I'm going to do 3 times 5, which is 15. And 8 times 2, which is 16. Add those together, and my final answer will be 31 over 40. When we're subtracting, the method is exactly the same. We start by finding the common denominator by multiplying these two bottom numbers together. So 7 times 4, which is 28. Then we multiply 2 and 4, which is 8. And we multiply 7 and 1, which is 7. Obviously, this is subtraction now, so we're going to do 8 take 7, which is going to leave us with 1 over 28. Multiplying fractions. So when you multiply fractions, you simply multiply the top two numbers together, which gives us 8, and you multiply the bottom two numbers together, 25. So 8 over 25. Again, normal practice. So 7 times 1 is 7 over 10 times 8, 80. So dividing fractions. So this is a little bit more tricky. We've got 4/5 divided by 5/6. Okay, what we need to do is find a common denominator again, but there is a trick to find the common denominator and then hide it so we don't have to actually look at it. The trick with dividing by a fraction is, some of you have heard this before, you keep the first fraction, you change this into a multiplication, and we swap these two numbers over. So this becomes 4/5 multiplied by 6/5. And we know how to multiply. We multiply the top numbers together. So 4 times 6, which is 24. And we multiply the bottom numbers together, which is 5 times 6, which is 30. Okay, we can simplify this down to 12/15 by dividing by 2. And then we can simplify it again by dividing by 3 into 4/5. So here we divided by 2, and now to get our final answer, we've divided by 3. Okay, once again, we keep the first fraction, we change the sign to a multiplication, and we flip these two numbers over. So that's going to turn into 5/4. So we don't need this anymore. Three times 5 is 15. 8 times 4 is 32. So 15/32. Okay, so that's our fraction work done. We've gone through a lot there quite quickly, but hopefully it's been useful. And remember to keep asking yourself, how are you going to achieve this year? What grade you want to get? And then how are you going to get there? And we always need to answer that as we're going to work hard. So it can be easy to start letting things slip now. We're partly through the year, but we need to keep our standards high, keep working hard every lesson, and keep going to achieve your goal.